This is BBC One. Now, a budget statement by the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
Good evening. Since I became Chancellor in 1997, I've sought to end decades of boom and bust. With all the decisions I've made, Bank of England independence, cutting the national debt, the New Deal to get the unemployed off welfare into work, I've worked with you to build the stability that has eluded Britain for years, the stability that's the foundation of prosperity for all. And it's because of our strength together to take the right long-term decisions for Britain and the concerted effort of all British people, your enterprise, your hard work, that Britain has avoided the recessions that hit America, France, Germany, Japan, and the euro area. In fact, this has been the longest period of growth in Britain for 200 years. Now, I'm often asked if this newfound stability, with low inflation and interest rates as low as possible, will last. And I understand the concerns of hard-working families, let down in the past by promises of continued stability. That's why this government has given priority to stability, because we know how much damage recession does to family finances. We must not and we will not repeat the mistakes of the past. We will never return Britain to the boom and bust of the late 1980s and early 1990s, when mortgage rates hit 15% and hundreds of thousands of families had their homes repossessed. So in my budget today, I've taken measures to lock in economic stability, to keep the national debt and debt interest payments low, and to cut the bills of welfare and administration. And while no government can control what happens globally, my aim here in Britain is to lock in stability, not just for a year or two, but for a generation. And on our foundation of stability, I was also able to help families and to help pensioners. When we came to office, Britain spent 75 pence in every additional pound of spending on unemployment and the interest we had to pay on the national debt. Today, it's not 75 pence in every pound, but just 25 pence. And as a result, I have more money available to invest in our nation's priorities. But I had a choice to make. Some say our first priority should be to cut taxes now. I've already cut capital gains tax from 40 pence to 10 pence, introduced a new 10 pence starting rate of income tax, and while I had to raise national insurance a year ago to pay for more doctors, more nurses, more hospitals for the National Health Service, I have in previous budgets since 1997 cut the basic rates of income tax, of corporation tax, and of small business tax. So the question I had to answer is whether now is the right time to use the resources we've earned to cut taxes or to continue our programme of investing to meet the priorities of delivering economic strength and better public services. I decided the right choice was to use the money to spend substantially more on schools, because I believe that the economy of tomorrow depends on investing in the education of all today. So having cut these bills of unemployment and debt from the past, I used these extra resources to invest in success for the future, an extra £8.5 billion in the education and skills of all the young people of Britain. Next year, more cash, from £50,000 to £180,000, depending on the size of your school, will go directly to your local school for the head teacher to spend on the school's priorities. And over the next 10 years, we will renovate and upgrade every secondary school in the country so every child can have the best possible start in life. In 1997, the government spent £2,500 per pupil on schooling. Today, we spend £4,500. As a result of the extra investment I announced today, by 2008, we will spend an extra £1,000 more. And that's a total of £5,500 a year for every school pupil in Britain. Today, I was also able to help pensioners over 70 with the costs of the council tax bills. I understand the position of older pensioners on fixed income. Their council tax bills take a higher share from their income than the rest of us. So for this year, for those over 70, in addition to the winter fuel payment, we will pay an extra £100. In total, with the winter fuel payment, pensioners over 70 will receive £300, pensioner households over 80, £400 in all. On a foundation of economic stability, more investment, not less, honouring our obligations to both children and the elderly. It's a budget for a fairer, for a more successful Britain.
That was a budget statement by the Chancellor of the Exchequer.